Good evening, everyone. The hour is 5:30. Welcome to the regular meeting of the Danville City Commission for Monday, June the 24th, 2019. We do have a quorum, so I will call us to order, ask that we be led in a moment of prayer by Commissioner Kevin Cottle.
Thank you, Mayor. Father of all, we appreciate the chance to gather here in complete freedom and talk about the issues of the city. We would ask that you remind us that we are all neighbors and that we treat each other with respect. I would like to ask that you be with those who find themselves in harm's way or in need of your grace. Help us tonight to conduct ourselves in a way that's pleasing to you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Please stand while I lead us in a Pledge of Allegiance. Thank you, Commission. Unless I hear otherwise, I will proceed with tonight's agenda. Beginning with Hear the Public's opportunity to take 3 minutes at the microphone on any subject that is on tonight's agenda. Seeing none, we'll move right into the fun part of tonight, and this is a retirement recognition. And I'm going to ask Mr. Coffey to address the commission.
We'll introduce Todd Conger, who's in the crowd. And Todd has been an employee since 1994 with the city. He was promoted through the process over the years to the superintendent of the Wastewater Rehab department. Todd has spent many nights in the field when people were sleeping and doing a job that is extremely difficult conditions, and has done a good job for the city and the community over that time period. Helped a lot of people through his effort, and we'd like to recognize Todd for that. Todd has demonstrated a skill of dealing with whatever problem that was in front of him, whether it was something that he was trained for previously or something that he had to take a book and read and figure out that was electronic, for example, or something just not in his previous expertise. And so Todd has been kind to me personally. He's been kind to citizens that I've seen and observed. He has supported citizens in rough times as they've had problems, most of which are very dirty issues that really no one wants to occur to anyone. And we appreciate Todd and would just like to express our gratitude for his service, both to the city, to the citizens, and to his job and to his coworkers. And so, Todd, thank you, and love for you to go say something and introduce yourself.
Can I say something about Todd real quick?
You sure can.
First time I met Todd, he probably doesn't remember this. We had a sewer back up at my house, and he was there with, I don't know, maybe David Payne, Ronnie was there probably. Yep. And I don't know if you were new to that crew or not, but they kept calling you the new guy, and you had to jump down in the hole, you had to dig the hole, you had to get up to your knees in the stuff. And
I was the new guy for 19 years.
Yeah, right. but the thing I remember most is that you did it with a smile on your face. It was just, that's what you do, and that's what you did, and you did it well, and I appreciate it. We were lucky to have you.
I had requested to, I don't do this without crying. I had requested to present this to you because for those of you that don't know, Todd and I grew up across the street from each other on Waveland Avenue. And his mother worked out of town. I'm going to tell a story on you. His mother worked out of town, and he and his sister were usually running around the neighborhood. And when his mother got home and Todd and his sister Heather were not home, you could hear his mother calling for them all over the neighborhood, and you could hear it, and they would drop what they were doing and run. And Todd and I actually were related at one point in time by marriage, and his mother, who he lost last year, and his family has always been very special to me. So I had requested to be here at the end for you when you have given lots of service, and as Kevin said, you do everything with a smile on your face. So we appreciate you. I appreciate you personally, as well as my family. And so we are going to present this to you for your service to the City of Danville.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now you got to say something. I got to move the microphone before you reach.
I don't have nothing to say. I'd just like to thank everybody, or City of Danville, for giving me the opportunity to serve, and just want to go on to new things. I think I've learned all I can learn here, so, thank you.
What are you going to do now? Do you know?
No, I
Fish a little,
don't. I might,
golf a little.
I might, I want to learn something. I might go to school, I have no idea.
Sure.
Well, whatever you do, we wish you the best, Godspeed, and you've earned your time, and all the best. Look forward to seeing you somewhere around town.
Oh, yeah.
That's right.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item 2 is the approval of the minutes of the previous meeting, and that meeting date was June the 10th. Is there a motion to approve or amend?
I'll offer a motion to approve the June 10th, 2019 minutes as presented.
Motion is made. Does it have a second?
Second.
We have a second. I would offer one clerical amendment, if I might, at the bottom of the second page. We just need to strike those last 3 words that said, "He said that." Just to,
Who said that?
who said, I don't, he, you know who he is. So. If there's no other additions or corrections, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 3 is resolution number 2019-06-24-01. This is the partnership commitment letter with the Economic Development Partnership. Mr. Scott?
Yes, sir, Mayor and Commission. This partnership commitment is a revised statement of our purposes and processes and shared values in working together in a collaborative way to promote successful economic development outcomes in our community. This particular draft has gone through several revisions and discussions during the past several months, and it was approved without dissension unanimously at the most recent EDP meeting, and it is recommended for your adoption tonight. It is for a period of 3 years, beginning July 1, 2019, although it does have provisions should any partner wish to exit that prior to that time. There are provisions that allow that to occur, and typically it does go through a revision period, if necessary, annually, each of those 3 years. So it is recommended for your adoption tonight.
Thank you, sir. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
I move that we approve Resolution 2019-06-2401.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Discussion?
Look through it. Looks good.
No other discussion. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Thank you. Motion carries. Mr. Scott, continue, if you would, with your city manager report.
Yes, sir. My report tonight is fairly brief. I do want to follow up on our special meeting of Wednesday of last week to report that I have been in touch with all of the 6 professional recruiting firms that you approved to be sent a request for proposal to assist you in searching for the next city manager. I did confirm with 5 of those 6 firms that they had received that request for proposal, and they were intending to make a reply by that July the 12th deadline. And I feel confident that you will also hear from the other one that I left a message with, but did not talk with anyone when I made that call. So that's just to follow up on your earlier work item. I distributed to each of you tonight a letter that is dated June 19th, 2019, and I don't propose that any action be considered or yes, and that it's a communication from the public, a citizen's petition, if you will. I have been advised that there is a desire to improve our fountain at the corner of Wastewater Park at Main Street and 4th Street. A number of citizens, 15 in total, have signed a letter supporting, or a petition supporting, that the city consider making an improvement to the fountain that is currently located at that corner. And they, I think specifically, liked the idea of purchasing a certain bronze fountain that has been for sale in Lexington for a number of years, that was initially considered by this commission when the original fountain at the corner was approved. We've had difficulties, and it's no secret to anyone that our existing fountain, I would say, is not optimal in terms of water flow or reliability of water flowing in that fountain. So these particular individuals have said, we'll pony up $2,200 towards the cost of buying that particular fountain. And implicitly, I think they're also saying we support a greater effort to improve that corner. The fountain that was referenced by the citizens is a antique bronze fountain that I understand was on a private location in Nashville and has been for sale for a number of years in Lexington. The price has been discounted to what they say would be the lowest price of $6,000. The citizens have committed $2,200, they say, and have written checks for that amount, leaving $3,800 for that fountain, if that's the one you should choose to place at that corner. I've had in recent weeks, months, and maybe even over the span of a year or so, conversations with our engineering staff about the total cost to improve that corner. And we're probably talking, we don't have firm figures yet, and we would need to probably come up with a closer estimate. But the range of cost probably to make that corner suitable for a fountain that would be traditional in the sense of water coming out of the bowl into a basin, and also in this particular instance flowing out of the necks of mouths of swans located in 3 points around the fountain. Total cost would probably be somewhere between $20,000 and $30,000. It's a topic I bring to your attention, and I don't know what direction or thoughts you might have, if any, at this time, or if you want to take it under advisement and have us come back with a more sharply priced estimate of that or other alternatives. We would, of course, if we were to implement a change in fountain there, I think we would be required to remove the existing smaller sort of meditative fountain that's at the location presently. Our engineering staff and I have talked about the fact that that could be located perhaps if that was desired to be done in the water treatment plant, we have a public area down there that we have some visitors in, or even perhaps outside on the grounds of the water treatment plant, or maybe at the new water park playground, as an example. We have other water features that are yet to be installed there. Possibly this could be an addition there as well. So I just bring this to your attention tonight, and if you have direction regarding the petition, I certainly am receptive to hearing that.
Let me suggest that each of us individually reflect our thoughts to city manager,
Okay.
if that's okay. And then he can coalesce those thoughts, and then at some point, if we have to have a special session or we incorporate it in a later meeting as an agenda item, I think that would serve our time best. That's my thoughts. I'm open to any other suggestions.
Does that pass muster, Steve?
You can do that, certainly on any issue, if you just want to direct your comments to the city manager, and then he can share those comments collectively at the next meeting, if that would be your preference, as to just proposing them all together at the next meeting yourself. I mean, you can do it privately, individually to the city manager, or you could just simply state your feelings publicly at the next meeting. Whatever avenue is chosen, the important part would be to reflect for the city manager to summarize the comments that were individually made publicly at some point.
Okay.
Well, that can be done either two ways, right? If we reflect them privately and then you reflect them publicly, that's fine. Okay. Does that work?
Yeah, it does it. But publicly, I'm going to just ask a question to Earl. We were never satisfied with that thing from the beginning, that fountain. We didn't feel like that's what Brandstetter and Carroll had presented to us. So how did we end up leaving that in terms of, do they owe us?
Have we released them from that contract?
Yeah, I mean, they've been paid fully. They compensated the city by purchasing an additional pump in an effort to improve what was there. That I really can't judge necessarily to what extent it's the work they did is fair or not fair. They designed the fountain that they depicted. The variation is that the depiction in the rendering had a more robust water volume in the bowl. I think they would say that they referenced the bowl dimensions that were there, and I just think there was miscommunication there, and that's a two-way street probably, and I think to some extent I think that you really concluded that process with them, I would say, at this point, in that they did spend extra time trying to make the fountain, trying to improve the fountain. They did provide different components that were not part of their contract to try to make that better.
Is that $5,000 worth of components?
No, I don't remember what the cost was. It probably is not that. But I mean, it's an interpretation. I mean, in the end.
Well, my
Is that not fair,
interpretation
Steve?
is we got something that never worked from the get-go. That's just my interpretation.
I would say that the city engaged them in their engineering to produce a product that is yet to be delivered.
Yeah.
And so if no contingency was retained, and they have been paid their contract in full, then they have liability in making that right in some form or fashion. And I would think parts would be very inadequate to achieving that end. So whether the contract's been closed or not, I was under the impression that that project had been left where the engineer asked the project to be finished, the entire park to be finished, and see if the totality, if it still had the same effect when the total park was finished. And
Yep.
they asked for patience, which was granted, but to me, the product still hasn't been delivered.
Yeah, your recollections bear in mind. I do remember that.
Yeah, so as far as I'm concerned, I would think that the city needs to be made whole in the production of a workable fountain. And I would say that the work that the city employees have done has been laudable, but in essence, the creativity of someone in Public Works Department with making an ice maker to rig an engineered fountain to the tunes that the city paid for that is wholly inadequate and insufficient.
Expensive ice maker.
Amen.
So if you move it out to the water park, what have you solved? You still have a bowl with a stone bowl with one hole in the bottom. It'll never be a workable fountain where water can come in and circulate and go out and back in. To me, it's a glorified planter at this point.
It's more about, to be honest with you, my interpretation of it, and your memory's correct. That's exactly what we had said, and I'd forgotten that. It's a space issue, really. Probably you could say that fountain, that's a big space for a fountain that size, for a bowl and spray that is that size, and maybe that space that it's in needs to be a bigger bowl with a bigger mechanism, with a different volume of water, a different capacity. I think that would be the variation. So if any space that bowl goes in needs to be a more confined space, more of a courtyard style bowl than you would see that probably in that application versus a open space such as we have up there. That would be.
In my non-engineering assessment, the volume is insufficient for the type of fountain that was desired and shown.
Right, and so in the end.
That is very basic, but in conclusion, that is what has in fact occurred. The volume is insufficient for the fountain desired.
Right, the bowl does not hold enough water so that you can get enough water in the air so that it looks more elaborate.
Be a heck of a bird bath.
Not a lot of water.
Right. It seems like it would be, it could fill with water, but it's never going to be able to replicate what was shown to you.
So I think the point's been made pretty well. You know, the community has responded, and some people have responded with their checkbook that they want us to get that corner back to what we thought it would be. And it seems like they ought to have a little bit of a conversation with Branstetter and Carroll. We've done a lot of work with them, and they've done great work for us. And I think they would like to continue to work for the city of Danville, naturally. So I think a conversation with them could be part of this scenario moving forward to see what they could do to help out.
Yeah, we'll meet with the city attorney, or at least speak with him sometime.
I think we'd always had it in the back of our mind that whenever a solution was proposed, that a final conversation would take place with an engineering firm to see how that was going to be resolved.
That's what I recall.
So I don't think we're getting the cart before the horse here. I think the city needs to determine, the engineer hasn't produced some alternative to resolve the matter to date. And if you would like to consider other alternatives of how it can be resolved, I think the city should do that in some form and fashion, come up with a proposal, and then meet with the engineering firm to determine how we're going to just bring everything to conclusion.
So we'll begin by sharing our individual thoughts with Mr. Scott. He can collate those, and then we can have some basis of efficient discussion.
And our thoughts should be about the appropriateness of what's on the corner now, along with the appropriateness of another $30,000 investment in the park. What I recollect is that the dimensions of the bowl has just never met what we envisioned in our minds from the drawings that it was going to be, and it was not going to be a soup bowl. It was going to be an industrial-sized bowl or something, but the bowls are small. Yeah.
And perhaps we should make the engineering firm, put them on notice as well of the process that you're undertaking, and their participation would be warranted in it, and they may come up with some other proposal. I think at some point this commission is going to have to take a position by resolution or otherwise that what is there is inadequate and needs revision in some form or fashion. And they can come up with solutions, you can come up with solutions. Perhaps the one that's been presented is the answer, I don't know. But then I think we should continue to work with them in finding some resolution to it.
Anything else, Mr. Scott? Yes, sir. You want to say something?
No.
Anything else, sir?
Just to mention that I do request an executive session tonight on personnel matters.
Okay.
Thank you.
If there's nothing else, we'll move into the hear the public. This is the opportunity to take 3 minutes at the microphone about any subject matter that is not on tonight's agenda. Miss Angie.
I've come to take up everybody's time.
You got 3 minutes like everybody
3
else.
minutes?
3 minutes like everybody
Oh.
else. Or else you can get
You
on.
know I can't get everything out in 3 minutes.
We got
But
the hook.
anyway, I just want to sort of bring everybody up to date with the recycling and basically the recycling. Got some grants in. Of course, we're going to do the hazardous household waste event again this fall. I've got it scheduled for September the 28th. Also want to change some things at the recycling center. I've got a few copies, I've got a copy here that you all can look at just at your leisure. Just give it to you, Mayor, and I'll go through it. Basically, I asked for a new sorting line, and that sorting line will be up, it'll have compartments underneath. It just allows for more room and more, we gotta clean the recycling up. It's come to the point, you know, people want clean recycling. How we're gonna change everything, I don't know, but we're gonna work at it. The other thing that I'm getting ready to put in is a mobile paper grinder. It's an 18-foot trailer that will be able to go to the schools and anyone who else wants to service, that can pick up the cans right there on the spot and shred the paper. So, you know, it's a volunteer thing. And also we'll be creating an application for your mobile phones that will put your schedule out there. You can put your address in, it'll tell you when your trash service is, when the recycling service is. It'll let me put any type of updates out there. If you want to know if something's recyclable, you'll be able to type it in and it'll tell you if it's recyclable or not.
Well done in 3 minutes, ma'am.
Do I have no more time?
Anyone have questions or comments?
Is the grant that you're seeking or that you've already been awarded?
It's already been awarded.
Going to cover the,
Yes,
wow,
it's already been
deal.
awarded.
Good deal.
It has been awarded.
congratulations.
So I just wanted to update everybody. Mayor, we talked about the recycling issue. We're not quitting. We're not Lexington. We're Danville. In Boyle County, we are not going to quit recycling. I think if you tell people to start throwing things away, they're going to keep throwing things away. I think recycling's a habit, and I think if we give that market time, I think it'll come back. It might come back. It might not come back as strong as we want it to in the beginning, but I think it's going to make a comeback. I have faith in it.
Yeah.
And we can't stop. Not yet, Mayor. Not yet. But I'll be happy to ask anybody any questions or.
Let me ask before you do, is there anyone else in the audience that wants to speak tonight? If not, I'd like to carry on the conversation about this, because I know at some point it's coming down as a topic of conversation, and as we look to renew our contract. And then there's this whole issue of the recycling, and I know Angie doesn't want me to talk about this for the reasons she just stated, but I think we need to be prepared to see what the market is doing, and what the trend is. It's going to be interesting to watch Lexington, as the mayor has decided over there that she's going to look to make a significant difference in their program. But we may have to make a difficult decision later on, just depending on where it is, because it does involve money, it does involve assessing the taxpayer, and we're just going to need to weigh that out.
They have a lot of equipment that's down also, I think, have made their decision. The only thing that some of the citizens of Danville need to realize, and I've got this phone call, I had a lady call me and she told me that I didn't care about recycling because she watched Republic put her recycling in their trash truck. You know, they may do it, but really it's theirs. They have your contract, your recycling, and there's nothing I can do about that. You know, if the citizens are that concerned where it's going, you know, they can take it to the convenience center, bring it right up to the recycling center, you know, we'll take it. But as far as what Republic does, they have the contract and I can't control that.
Right.
And I seriously, I've talked to Mr. Scott and, you know, I hope that I'm included in that, you know, with the trash service and what's going on because yous are getting treated pretty bad sometimes, so.
Any other comments about that?
I was just going to ask or make a comment if we could use her for some sort of consultation as we negotiate our trash contract in the future.
Certainly, we'll have conversations in terms of what we might be able to achieve together. Sure.
Okay, thank you.
Congratulations on the grant. Thank you.
Thank you. Just
Keep,
wanted to bring up
keep,
speed.
keep them coming.
Do our best.
Anyone else for commissioner comments? If not, we'll move, I'm sorry, public comments. If not, we'll move right into commissioner comments. Mr. Atkins, anything you want to throw in? I spent Thursday and Friday at your Kentucky League of Cities meetings, and will simply report that it was a vigorous and lengthy agenda, and I'm pleased that the league is addressing a number of issues, which I'll be glad to go into detail if you're so bored, but I'll just leave it at that.
Nothing here.
So last week, Parks and Rec Board meeting, which happens once a month, the mayor was there and the city manager and myself, and of course we have a new leader and we welcomed him last time that he was here. But I would encourage not only my fellow commissioners but the rest of the public to go to their website and see what's going on. There's some new fresh air in the house, and John's brought National Bomb Pop Day to us. It's coming up this month, the National Hot Dog Day coming up in July, I believe. So there's some fun things. He's trying to get better exposure for Parks and Rec and been working closely with the CVB, and I could go on, but we're glad to have you, John. I just thought I'd update the three of you that weren't at that meeting what happened.
Thank you, sir.
And National Bomb Pop Day is Saturday, this Saturday?
Thursday.
Thursday. Jackson Park. Millennium Park, 2 to 4 on Thursday. Come get a free bomb pop.
And am I correct, John, since we kind of put you on the spot out there, this is on your website, right? Okay, so.
No, it will be by the time you
Nice response there, John. That's good. Yeah. Anything else? If not, we'll move right into item 5, payment of the bills. Chair will entertain a motion for approval of the payments of the bills in the amount of $106,799.69. Do you hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and second. Discussion. Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 6, excuse me, is a second reading of ordinance number 1930. This is with respect to our fiscal year 2019-2020 budget. Do I hear a motion? I'm sorry. Yeah, we need a motion first, and then a reading.
I will move for approval of ordinance number 1930.
Thank you, ma'am. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Madam, you want to read the ordinance, please?
This is the second reading of ordinance number 1930, an ordinance of the City of Danville, Kentucky, adopting the annual budget for the fiscal year 7/1/19 through 6/30/20 by appropriating funds for the operation of city government.
Any discussion? If not, I will ask for a roll call vote.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Terry?
Yes.
Mayor Perros?
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Cottle?
Yes.
Commissioner Saris?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. Item 7 is resolution number 2019-06-24-02. This is the funding agreement that we have with the various community agencies. Mr. Scott.
Yes, sir, Mayor and Commission. This funding agreement is similar to the ones that we have required for the past number of years, with a couple of changes to increase accountability for the expenditure of public funds. This funding agreement applies to those agencies that receive funding, and particular portions of it apply to those agencies that receive $25,000 or more in the next fiscal year. Those that receive $25,000 or more, by signing this, agree that they are subject to open meetings and open records, which are consistent with the statutory provisions. It is also an agreement that they will transmit monthly to the city electronically a copy of their ledger showing disbursements of the money that is appropriated to them to serve as a check, if you will, on meeting the purposes for which they requested the money and for which it was appropriated to them. Our Chief Financial Officer, Michelle, has been in discussion with those applicable agencies that would have to so comply. I don't think it's going to be a problem for any to comply. There is a intent that in the case, excuse me, of an agency receiving more than $25,000 simply to do a grant match or to make a capital expenditure, we thought about writing carving out an exclusion for those type of agencies, but we think just administratively we can handle that because there is no intent really to get into the complicated finances of a community college, for example, when we have appropriated money for a specific purpose just to meet a state grant for the building expansion. But these are all designed to remind us that these are public dollars appropriated. They need to be treated in such a manner, and therefore the funding agreement specifies that.
Do I hear a motion that we adopt this?
I move to adopt resolution 2019-06-24-02.
Thanks, Commissioner Atkins. Is there a second?
Second.
Thanks, Commissioner Terry. Discussion. Ron, refresh my memory. Did we do this last year?
We have done it, although it was kind of a continuation. We didn't amend it last year, but it has been done. It's been in place for a number of years. But
who monitors this?
in the sense that the agencies requesting funding have agreed to the fact that we have the right to audit their books, we have the right to attend their meetings, all that. That's just annually a part of the application process. But the transmission of the financials monthly is new.
And that will go to Michelle?
Our Chief Financial Officer, yes.
The lady in the back with her hand up. Yes, ma'am. You have something to say?
I'll give it, and then if anything comes into question, I will give it to the city manager to look at.
Very good. Any further comments, questions? Seeing none, all in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Item 8 is the resolution 2019-06-24-03. This is the Boyle County Health Department contract agreement. Ms. Peak, Ms. HR.
We would just ask that you approve the resolution that's in front of you so that we can use Boyle County Health Department for our screens for our employees for biometrics and hepatitis shots and flu shots at the prices listed for the upcoming fiscal year.
Great. Do I hear a motion?
Move for approval of Resolution 2019-06-2403.
Thank you, sir. Is there a second?
Second.
Thank you, sir. Discussion?
Shouldn't be any, it's the same as you do every year, right? Yeah.
No further discussion, call the question. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Item 9 is Resolution 2019-06-24-04. This is a Delta Dental fiscal year 2019-2020 renewal. Continue on, Ms. Peak.
We would ask that you approve this resolution, approving our dental coverage for the fiscal year 1920 to be with Delta Dental, and there's no price change from last year.
Do I hear a motion for approval?
I move to approve Resolution 2019-06-2404.
Thank you, sir. Is there a
Second.
Thank you, sir. Discussion?
I like the price. No change.
No
It's good.
change. No further discussion, call the question. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign, motion carries. Item 10 is Resolution 2019-06-24-05, Springfield Laundry Contract Agreement. Ms. Gosser, back in the corner.
This agreement on this resolution is for the floor mats and the uniforms that we use. Some of the employees in Public Works and the utility departments opt, instead of getting a uniform allowance, to get actual uniforms that get serviced and wear. And then we also contract out for supplies and mats to get changed out in City Hall, the water utility, police department. And this is the contract to allow us to do that with Springfield Laundry.
Thank you, ma'am. Do I hear a motion for the approval?
Move. Go ahead.
Thank you,
I move for
ma'am.
approval, Resolution 2019-06-2405.
Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion is made and seconded. Discussion?
I have a question. You didn't have any monetary figure here, so
Right.
I guess there's
It's-
not a
it's
solid
It's
figure.
per basis on the contract. It's a per uniform basis, so we don't know how many people will want to do it. We did solicit bids, or not bids, but quotes from other places. We're currently using another place that we're not completely satisfied with. So that is what we do. So all the local vendors that we deliver here, we got information from them, and this was the cheapest one.
Everybody good? I'll call the vote. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Item 11 is Resolution 2019-06-24-06. This is a valve equipment bid award. Mr. Coffey.
Thank you, Mayor, Commissioners. The city solicited proposals from vendors to provide water valve maintenance equipment. The city received 2 bids from Lewis Municipal Sales and E.H. Watts. The low bid, as a matter of record, was Lewis Municipal Sales at $61,250. The Watts unit was $63,825. City went and reviewed these pieces of equipment and compared them side by side, talked to other utilities that had both of these systems and used for the same purpose of ours, and there was a pretty significant recommendation from the other utilities that the city invest the additional funds, that it was, the difference did not exceed the value that the Watts unit was much better than the other. So
That's your recommendation. Do I hear a motion to that effect?
I'll offer a motion to approve resolution number 2019-06-24-06, and recognize that we're accepting a bid higher I move to approve the second reading of ordinance 1931.
Second.
As presented.
Thank you, sir, and thank you, ma'am. We are in discussion. If there is no discussion, I'll ask that it be read.
This is the second reading of ordinance number 1931, an ordinance establishing the regulatory license fee for the sale of alcoholic beverages in the city of Danville for fiscal year 2019-2020.
Thank you, ma'am. Any discussion?
No comment. We made
Yes,
it
sir.
last time, no changes.
Yes, sir.
So we're just status quo.
We don't like status quo,
Well,
just no changes.
some people do and some people don't.
Any further discussion? If not, Chair called question. All in favor of the motion, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion
We have
carried.
to roll call.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, we do.
Oh, yeah.
I was already on the next subject, sorry.
Ashley was gonna get him too. Go on.
Go ahead,
She
Ashley.
was
Get
going
him,
to get
Ashley.
it.
Commissioner Terry?
Yes.
Mayor Paris?
Yes.
Commissioner Cottle?
Yes.
Commissioner Saris?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes, ma'am.
And speaking of alcohol regulatory, Ms. Lester attended the KLC, and she is considered a rock star amongst those people down there. And everybody said, I'm Mayor of Danville. Oh, yeah, Bridget. And that's kind of got an inferiority complex there, Bridget, but glad to know you're held in such high esteem.
Did you do some traveling with the KFC?
Did she do some
No,
traveling?
didn't you do some traveling? Did you
That
go some
was-
sites?
That was a year ago in May.
You didn't do some sites about 2 or 3 weeks ago? The KLC? That's all right, go on, it's all right. Something, I'll talk to you about
I
it.
don't think so. Okay, but we'll talk about it. So before we adjourn and go into executive session, I want to again thank Todd for untold hours at unknown hours for all that you have done. And please enjoy yourself with a little token of our appreciation with cake and a little punch, etc. Thank you. Everyone's welcome, obviously. Do I hear a motion we adjourn and move into executive session for personnel reasons?
I move that we go into executive session to discuss a personnel matter pursuant to KRS 61810-1F.
We have a motion. Do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion and second. Discussion. All in favor of the motion say aye.
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 Opposed, like sign. We are moving to executive session.
I move that we go back into regular session. Excuse me.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Do I hear any discussion? All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. We are in regular session.
Oh,
We can report that no action was taken in executive session. No action is needed.
offer motion for adjournment.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All in favor of the motion say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, like sign. Motion carries.
Thought you were going to say something.
Good night.
Brilliant.